Hi everyone, so it's been a while since my last video on trade algo, and probably this cast is going to show you why. And what I'm going to talk about today is the way I control my live trading, my live algorithmic trading, and I'll just get straight into it, right? So you just watch what I'm doing. So I have Wealth Lab. And every strategy I have in Wealth Lab. So for example, I have a strategy and I do my testing, right? So like for example, this is the Russian market, the Russian futures market, right? So for example, I'm well, I don't know, let's this is the dollar ruble future, and well, not necessarily is going to show good results now, right? But it's not anything about that right now anyway, right? So it's showing better results. So, well, anyway, for example, this is a system, yeah, and it's trading live right now, yeah. How do I know it's trading live? Well, there is a special tool I wrote right here, and well, I can check. So this system has this code, and I can go to this tab here and get WL strategy ID. If I press this button, it actually tells me that this strategy with this code, which is inside the editor, has the number, the ID, which is 291150017, right? And if I even change a letter inside this code, it's gonna give me a different ID. Right, so I know it's got this ID, right? So here we go, right? It's got this ID, and I have this software that I developed, and here are all of my recent tests, right? So every test I do in Wealth Lab, I actually export, right? So here's the export data, and it exports everything from Wealth Lab. It exports trades. Well, actually, yeah, it exports trades mainly, parameters, strategy name, strategy path. Also, it exports some tool settings like commission settings and slippage settings, and also some symbol info manager settings, right? So I can calculate correctly. So I can just know, I can completely restore my test settings, right? So right here, for example, that strategy ID was well, whatever it was, right? So anyway, see, I have live statuses here for systems that are actually trading right now, right? And well, the one which is trading, yeah, this one is trading 2911507, and it's trading on an SI symbol. So it's this one here, right? And I can actually go inside the strategy and see the parameters that are actually trading right now, right? And I can see the equity graph and more symbol info data. Well, it's not exported here because it's an old test, but if for the new tests here, you can see I have all these symbol info manager data here and settings data, right? So you can see that commissions was set to true for dollars per share, and slippage was set to true, slippage value 0.1. The test dates were such and such, and position sizing was set to raw profit share and share size. So all, and the bar scale and the margin, everything I need to know about the test is right here, stored in an Oracle database. Well, let's just say in a database, on a server, right? Okay, so I got my test info right here, and so basically, if I just go inside this test, I can put the stuff in, and I'll get the same data, right? But anyway, that's what I'm going to talk about today. So I export all the trades and all the data, and then I can put set this test status to set status to live. That means I'm going to trade this system, right? I'm going to trade this system with these particular test settings, with these particular test parameters, all right? And after it starts trading, it goes into my briefcase. Yeah, I have few briefcases, and well, that's portfolios, right? So briefcase or portfolios, just because in my native language, which is Russian, we don't say portfolio, we say briefcase. So right here, I can select different portfolios, right? And every portfolio has also got its ID. So every system that goes into trading is actually allocated with a system ID, test ID, and a briefcase, a portfolio ID if you wish, right? So right here, it's all can all be separated. So right now, and by the way, every trade which is made algorithmically with another, I'm not trading live with Wealth Lab, I'm trading live with TS Lab, which is a program used for the Russian market, and every trade which is traded live is fixed into the database, right? So every trade, after it's fixed, it goes into the database, and right here I can go and look at what's happening, right? So let's look at this example here, which is C, right? So now right here we see all the live trades that the system has made, and we can see that it has made 33 live trades, and we can see that the profit it actually made, this is real money, guys, and we can see that this is the equity, which is actually live equity for this particular system. And this is the mixed equity. So this is the equity which is green, is actually the equity which is the test equity, right? And from here, this is the in sample, this is the out of sample, right? So I can see that the system is actually doing pretty good, right? It's actually is growing, right? It's growing, and it's making money, right? So even from a look onto the equity, I can see that the system is not failing, right? In a position, like I can show you a system which has failed, for example, and so this is show traded systems, right? And this system failed badly. I had 57 trades, and at some point we can see that it was going pretty good, and then just poof at this point. So this was the max EQ equity on tests, and this just joined on, and you can see that, well, I was actually waiting and hoping that it would go up from here maybe, but it just continued to go down, so I decided to stop trades. Okay, so anyway, yeah, just one second. Let's see. Live systems again only. Okay, and so equity mix, right? And also I have drawdowns, and here is the same stuff. So the green line is actually the line which was on test. So these are test drawdowns. So this line indicates the max drawdown. This is the average drawdown, and the average is actually for all drawdowns, the live and the trade drawdowns. So this is the live drawdowns, this is the test drawdowns, and this is one standard deviation from the average, right? So we can see that, like, for right now, I'm very satisfied with the drawdowns, right? So basically, if the system goes down somewhere here at some point, I'll be like, oh, shall I wait for the max, or shall I, turn the system off and change it after it, went like below one standard deviation away from the average, or, well, what should I do? So this is like the point. This is where you can make decisions, more clearly, understanding what is actually going on in respect to what you actually think might go on in respect to, again, the test trades that you had, right? And the test results that you had. Okay, so this is one more. So I judge upon this graph. The whole idea behind coding and writing this piece of software, this analytical piece of software, was to make it easier to understand what is going on with your portfolio and what is going on with every single system inside the portfolio, because physically you cannot, if you're trading, so I have like 5 here, right? But I'm planning to go up to 30, and it's really difficult when you have 30 systems, to open them up all at once, and spend 1 hour you want to spend per day monitoring your system performance, right? And monitoring your risks, managing your risks, how bad you want to go down, or and stuff like that, right? So I'll talk about that later on in this video. Okay, so sorry, and so basically, so this is the first thing I look at, right? So I look at this, then I'll look at the drawdowns, and then there's one more graph which is called days no high, right? So we can see that at this point, so when I quit these, when I started live trading this system, we can see that all of these days were actually, so there was a new high right here, right? And we can see that you know, a few days after live trading, there was a new high, right? So let me show you. So here, yeah, a few days after live trading, there was actually a new high. That's a very good indicator, right? So that means that, okay, that system is continuing to grow. And I was actually kind of predicting, right, that, you know, these are the, it's a trend following system. So and you can't get trend all the time, right? So I was actually predicting that there was quite a long time the system wasn't making money, and well, it was about time that the trend was to come back to the market, and it's a good time to, you know, pump the system into trade right now, you know. And we can see that the system is actually not losing any money whilst the market isn't flat, moving, you know, sideways. Okay, anyway, so we can see there's a new equity high right here, and a new equity high right here, and more equity highs right here, and we can see that, you know, this is again, days no high, 0, right? So right here, so the maximum days that this system did not make a new high on the equity was 200 something days, right? So almost 1 year. And well, you can see it's it's, I think it's this point here. It's almost 1 year, right? So 01, 07, 2016 up to almost right here, up to this point here probably, okay? Or maybe this point here. Yeah, probably this one. Well, anyway, that doesn't really matter, right? Yeah, it's, so this is probably, this is, yeah, so 01 2017, and we can see, yeah, so this was a new high here. So this is 150 days, and there was no high for at least 200 something days. It was probably somewhere here. Well, anyway, so this is a good indicator, although it's well, it depends, right? Because, like, for example, right here, you're waiting and you can see that the system is actually not going below, you know, these low points here. You can see it's not losing money. It's kind of going down, then going up again, and that's okay. You know, it's actually a great system. You know, if the system that during, you know, sideways movement is not losing money, that's great. Just let it trade, and at some point when the market makes a move, pow, you get your money made. Okay, so that's what's happening at this point right now. So anyway, like, for example, if you look for at this one, it's a bit different. See, it's actually only broke right now, broke a new equity high, and all this time I was waiting, and then now it's finally started to make some money. Okay, so next, let me show you more stuff. Days no high. So here, yeah, you see a new day no high, and this actually went. So after I put it into live trading, it actually went over. So here's the average, here's the maximum during trade. So I actually put it into trade, yeah, at the point right here, and this point was actually the maximum days that the system had no high for, right? So it's actually you know, a big question whether it's good to put the system into trade at this point, you know, when it's making money and it's about to stop doing it. Like, for example, you know, you see an equity, you test your system and you see an equity graph which is like perfect, just like, you know, take this piece here, take this, you know, time span here, and you get your equity graph which is like that, and you're like, wow, I want to trade this system. You put into trade and it starts doing this. Or is it better to, you know, put a system into trade which hasn't been making money for a long time, but has actually been very, very stable for a big period, like, of time, you know, like 2-3 years, with around, I don't know, about 100-150 trades per year, right? So it's a big question, it's a big philosophy, and I think everyone has you know, has their opinion about that. All right, can do a lot of math work here, and, you know, make a lot of very, very smart conclusions. But I think it's much better, you know, to try this stuff out live and just get your experience from live, you know, live trading. Okay, so right here, yeah, I put into trade, and it actually continued going over. So this is the maximum, this is the average, this one standard deviation from the average. It went above all that, and then boom, now it's finally got a new EQ. All right. Okay, then there's more critical data, like critical data, which is like maximum constant wins, right? So during the test there were 7. Now I have 5 in a row. And you know, if I get like 10 in a row, well, if I get 15 constant wins in a row, that means my system is doing good, obviously, but it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's just doing something else, right? So, and it's doing something else, and it's doing good, and that doesn't mean that it can go the other way, right? So it's better to turn it off, in my opinion. If it's doing good, if it's doing good, but it's not doing something which is it's supposed to be doing, then it's a question whether you want to continue trading it or not, right? Now this is max win one trade. Okay, so for right now on the tests, the one trade made 12,000. That's rubles, guys. Wonderful currency, which is going to turn into fire soon. Okay, and so 12,000 one trade, and right now live only 6. Okay, so well, if it's too small, it's bad. If it's too big, it's bad. Well, same stuff here. Well, maximum constant loss 6. You can see it's green here because it's 50% of what it did on tests. As soon as it gets to about 70, it's going to turn yellow, and if it gets bigger, it's going to turn red. So I don't have to, you know, as soon as I open this critical data tab, I already see that, okay, 1 is yellow, so that means I should pay attention to this, and if it's red, that means, well, I should think about turning the system like off and changing something about it. And so the same stuff, maximum loss 1 trade, average wins. Yeah, so that's the average win in terms of money, and this is the average loss in terms of money. So I also kind of compare them to the trades. And that's it, guys. For the strategy monitoring part, I think that's more than enough. Well, there's a max drawdown data. I don't put it right here. I monitor it from graph, so visually, right? It's just easier for me, right? And I'll show you where I look at the numbers. Okay, so that's part 1. Now there's also part 2, and part 2 is actually you can see there's some portfolio graphs which are right here. Well, I had a very bad. That's actually one trade which lost 8% or even more. It just lost 10%. 2 trades. Well, we all make mistakes. Anyway, this. So I started coding this software in the beginning of this year, and then I had like other work to do. So basically, this is just starting. This is just starting to work for me. So I don't have that much data to show you, but so this is the way. So right here, I collect data from the portfolio. So this is actually the live portfolio, which is actually just taking down. You know, it just goes to my account and just takes down every hour. It just, you know, writes into the database the portfolio, right, the value. And this is just a percentage of my portfolio growth in like percentage-wise, right? And this one is a raw briefcase equity. So this is actually calculated equity from the calculated trades. You might want to take into account that your calculated revenue is going to be different a little bit from the revenue which is for real. Well, because, well, for right now, this software does not take into account commissions. Well, I'm going to pop that in at some point. It's not that difficult. And also I had a little bit, because I started taking trades at one point, and I started taking portfolio equity records at another point, and I need to synchronize those 2 moments, but it's not a problem. I guess like version 2 when it comes out, for me, I'll have all that done, and that's not a big problem anyway. But for right now, for myself, and so like if you ever, you know, get to this kind of trade management system, just make sure that you understand that if you just sum up all your profits like that you get from your trades, right? And if you take down your records from your portfolio, they're going to differ because you must take into account the commissions. Okay, so now for example, so I have this kind of this much money left, right? And I'm like wondering, should I add more strategies? So how do I make that decision? Should I add more strategies or not, right? And the thing is that every strategy that I put into trade requires some capital to be reserved. Well, if you trade futures, you probably know something about this thing called I'm not sure what the English word is, but it's just the amount of money. Like for example, a future price is, I don't know, 60,000 rubles, like for my instrument. And for example, they only take 5,000 for that if you want to trade it, right? So that's called depot. I don't know. I forgot the English word. I'm sorry, right? But anyway, I think we all understand what I'm talking about, right? So they freeze a little bit amount of money when you trade futures. They freeze a little bit amount of money in order for you to be able to trade it, right? If you're trading in equity, you have to pay full price for the equity, right? So this thing right now is designed only for the futures market and only for one market, right? Okay, anyway, so what do I do, right? And I want to show you. So for example, I have X money left, and I have my, I don't know, 5 strategies are trading. One is trading, one future, the other one is trading 5, the other one is trading 7. And I want to kind of, understand how much money do I have frozen, in order to cover up for those positions. And that's one point. And I had a little bit of difficulty getting that because, I have, for example, 5 symbols here, and that value is always shifting. So what I do is actually I have another piece of software which every day it logs into the Russian trade market, special JSON place where you can get data for these symbols, and it downloads the data. Yeah, so the price for the amount of money that they freeze for one future for every symbol, it changes twice daily. So I download that data every day, and I actually substitute that data to calculate these values when I do my calculations, and I do it right here. So I have a web info tab right here. So, and here's the data, right? So that's the amount of money that I need to have for one future contract for each symbol, and so and this is the total amount of money I need to have for the whole briefcase, the whole portfolio, right? And my current equity is like 490,000, and my total the total money that I need to have on my account in order to continue trading these strategies is 95,000, right? That's great. But there's also one more thing that you need to know. Every strategy has its maximum drawdown. That's one point. The maximum drawdown we get it during tests, right? So I follow one rule. I don't go below max drawdown. So if my strategy trades below max drawdown that I had on tests, I turn it off. Okay, I can wait maybe for 1-2 more percent, and then I turn it off. It doesn't go back. And so we have that max drawdown. So this is the possible drawdown that all the systems that are currently trading live can have. So all of them can go down by 96,000, right? But there's also the current drawdown, which the systems, one can have 0 drawdown at the moment, and the other one can be at a point where it's already, did some drawdown. And I need to understand. So my total drawdown for all strategies that are in my portfolio right now is 6,000, right? So the real possible drawdown that the portfolio can go before I know something has to be done to every single strategy is 90,000, right? And so whether a strategy is successful or not, I will understand if it doesn't touch down with the drawdown, it's fine. But if it does, it's gonna go. So I'm gonna lose 18% of my capital, right? So that's my risk, right? So that's my risk. That's my maximum risk. Possible. I mean, can worst thing can happen, if one trade can, burn down depot. But anyway, but this is the worst that can happen in terms of drawdowns, right? So right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strategies trading, and they are, if all of them suddenly make their maximum possible drawdown, I'm gonna lose 18%. And in order for my capital, in order for my depot to stand that max drawdown, I need to have at least 184,000 left on the account. That's the 90,000 real possible drawdown plus the total frozen money that I need to have in order to cover up for the positions for the futures, right? So yeah, so that's I have to have 185,000, and right now I the capital used. So for example, I have 491,000, and I've used that up. So 37%. I have around 63% left to well, I'm not gonna say what, but I can add more strategies, and I still have capital to. But if I add strategies, I must understand that this can go up to 100%. Right? Actually, this will not ever reach 100% because I also have this number right here, which is the frozen money, which is also going to go up if I add strategies. And so there's we can see that, probably is 40, so probably around 40% risk, 50% risk, depot lose possible. Yeah. Sorry, I hope you understand what I meant. So and this system actually is what actually makes it easy for me to manage my accounts. And I've tried a lot of different approaches, and there were many versions preceding this one. And this one is the best probably, and I'm going to be continuing adding stuff to this. And but right now it's more or less pretty packed. See, it's bugging sometimes. Yeah. Well, anyway, so I think that's about it. That's all I wanted to say. And there are also some cool stuff. So for example, if I open this up and I'm really I can do whatever right now. So for example, so I can see last trade is green, and that means that I had a trade that closed today, and I want to check it out, right? So, and if I go inside one test, so you see this is green, so I know this was a trade which is made today. And for example, futures that are traded in pips, in points, right, are actually recalculated into the currency which the depot is in. So it's took a little bit of work. And so I can see, for example, so there were 3 trades today, and 1 trade, yeah, so this is a bad one. So, and for this one I can see, oh yeah, a new trade today, minus 200 rubles. It's about $5, maybe even less. No trades. Oh, also another trade today. It's pretty bad. Okay, so that's about it, guys. For this just happened whilst I was talking. Very disappointing, minus 2,000 rubles. 0.5%. This one just lost. You can see that. Look at this equity, so I can see what's it doing. Yeah, so that was nice, and it's kind of disappointing to see minus 0.5% losses. Well, anyway, so okay. I hope you enjoyed, and if you have any questions, visit tradealgo.com. It's my email there, and have a good trading experience. Thank you for your attention. Bye bye.